Welcome to the Disneyville podcast, episode 22.
Woo! I knew if you were watching the video version, I knew you were going to do it. I made fun of Tyler because in at least one episode, maybe two, in the video version, for some reason, when we watched it back at the very beginning, when Tyler says, "Welcome to the Disneyville podcast," he was looking at the camera, but he wasn't really, and his eyes were totally dead. And I was like, what is happening to you?
Looking at nothing, everything and nothing at the same time. So just from now on, I'm just going to have a different thing I'm looking at every time when I welcome you to the Disneyville podcast.
So what's up? My name is Jessica, if you're new here.
I'm Tyler.
And we are so excited. This episode number 22, we are talking about the resort we most recently stayed at, which was Old Key West.
That's right. Isn't 2 your favorite number?
2 is my favorite number. Yeah, it is.
So this is a double favorite. This is going to be a good episode.
Whoa. What's your favorite number?
2. I don't have one. They're all good. They all have different uses.
Okay, please. Prime numbers are fine. Okay. You know what number I don't like? 17.
No? Not a big fan of 17?
Can't divide it in half or by thirds or by fourths.
Well, what's cool about numbers is they each sort of represent a different quantity. So depending on what I'm talking about, a different number sort of makes sense in that instance.
At some point, each number is necessary.
So, right, exactly. So anyway, that's math, though. Math is hard.
It's hard. I want to say this early on. If you are just stumbling on this video and you are figuring some pros and cons of Old Key West, I'm going to put a timestamp on the screen and below what to skip to, because we're going to chit chat. That's what we do here. But I know not everyone watching this particular video, you might really want some very specific information. We are going to give you that in this episode, all about Old Key West. Maybe you found a room there that's cheaper and you're like, should we do it? Like, why is it cheaper? We're going to get into all that. So if you'd like, you can skip ahead.
There's also going to be a corresponding blog post that I will link below. So if you'd rather read about it, you can go there. Or if you're looking to refer to information later, and that will be easier to keep up to date as well. So that'll be on the Disneyville blog. It will also be on the People Mover Travel blog, which is the travel agency that I own. We have a blog over there. And then anything I write gets posted in both places. And then it's a long
You're
story.
just so famous.
Anyway, so if you want to read the blog post, it'll be linked below as well.
Very helpful stuff. Okay, we spent some time planning this, so we wanted to make sure all of the information is given to those that are really wanting it. Okay.
Oh, we should do our mug shots. I'm going to try and be better about actually getting some up-close shots of our mugs, because we keep talking about our mugs and then we forget about close-ups, and then I just am like, it's too late now.
You're in your GMEs on a Sunday night. You're like, it can't possibly do it before 5 a.m. on Monday.
So here, I'll show mine here really quickly, and then I'll try and get a close-up here. So this is a Disney's Old Key West mug, and it actually has a little hat.
Oh, it's not on it right now.
It's not on, I don't have it.
Like a tea cover, if you will.
Right. And it just says Disney's Old Key West, and it looks like the lighthouse they have, the like famous lighthouse there.
That is one of the coolest mugs we own. We just bought it on this last trip. And I'm very hopeful that Disney will continue to do resort specific merch and make them as cool as this, because even the mug itself is like a different shape.
Exactly.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
My mug is a Tiana one. And this is important because very, very soon, Tiana's Bayou Adventure will open.
I know.
Plus, it's just the mug I was already using.
June 28th, right? It's coming up so soon.
Although, depending on when you're listening to this. No, it wouldn't be open yet.
No, not yet. But it's soon, though. Very soon.
Also, the shirt you're wearing is an Old Key West shirt.
It says Old Key West on the front, and then on the back, I think it says Gurgling Suitcase, and it's got a big old like decal.
Which we'll explain what that is here momentarily.
Also, this is a men's large. I literally just popped the tag. It is tight. It's a tight shirt.
Real tight. I think I just gained a new shirt is what happened. It looked like it was men's hanging on the thing. So when we bought it, we were like, oh my gosh, that is an amazing, very specific shirt. Yeah. Love it. But yeah, it's looking a little more womanly every day. Yeah. And hey, wear whatever you want. Yeah, that might be my shirt. Once we wash it, it's going to be even
I know. I literally just was like, oh, I'm so excited. I got my new shirt. And I literally just popped the tag, because I think we got it like one of the last days we were there. And I was like, this is going to be awesome. And I put it on. I'm like, it's a little tight.
Well, anyways, so this video is meant for anyone that has either stayed at Old Key West, maybe you're thinking about staying there, maybe you found a really good rate on a 1-bedroom villa, or you just love Disney and you're just wanting to listen and chat. So,
or you're somebody who is like thinking, okay, well, I could stay at Animal Kingdom Lodge, or for half the price, I could stay at Old Key West, and you're doing some comparisons.
Some pros and cons.
Forgot my iPad, so I'm going to use my phone. So I'm not like just over here texting. This is me.
Were you texting, Tyler?
My notes.
All right. So Old Key West. One thing to know about it is that it is the OG Disney Vacation Club resort. It was built to be a DVC resort, and it was it definitely has that feeling. The vibe of very comfortable. The whole thing is, welcome home, right? That's the DVC slogan. Welcome home. And you really do feel a more relaxed vibe while you were there. There's no doubt about it.
More so than any other DVC place that we've stayed.
Or any Disney resort, I feel like.
It feels almost like an apartment complex. Like our literal, like we had a separate laundry room. Like it felt like
our unit, like in our
It felt like an apartment more than any other hotel we've ever stayed in.
It was so comfortable.
Very nice.
So it's in the deluxe category, but if you are searching like through prices and you're pricing out a trip, what we have discovered every time we go to book a trip is that you can almost always find an Old Key West room, even 1-bedroom villas, 2-bedroom villas, for a lot cheaper than other deluxe category hotels. You may ask yourself why, and so have we. And so this was one of the final resorts we had not personally stayed in, right?
Yep.
And so we were excited for this last trip. We just got back a few weeks ago, and we definitely have some thoughts, some big pros, some cons, and everything in between.
Yeah. And it's the same with Saratoga Springs. Saratoga Springs almost always has availability, and part of that is because there's so many rooms, but then there are some cons, but there's a lot of pros too.
There's a lot of pros.
So it's one of those things you're going to have to weigh.
More pros than cons, I will say
100%.
that. Spoiler alert.
Yeah. So you're going to have to kind of weigh out some things.
Yeah. It is located in the Disney Springs area. Every time we'd get on the bus to go to Epcot, and we're going to talk about the buses in a minute, but every time we'd get on the bus to go to Epcot specifically, we would be there very quickly. Once we were out of the hotel, it was like 5 minutes and we were at Epcot. So it's very close to that, very, very close to Disney Springs. Technically, there's a walkway.
Yeah.
We looked into it though, and we were going to do it one of the days and walk to Disney Springs. There was so much conflicting info on what route to take. We could have asked the front desk, but we were like near the last day of our trip. We were like, okay.
Just forget it. We're just going to go.
Forget it. Just forget it.
Well, and we knew we were going to have to ride buses back because it closed like at dusk. The path closes. So we're like, all right, we could walk there and then take a bus back. And we were like, just forget it. Let's just take a bus and let's be done with it.
I think it started raining too. We were like, okay, well, there we go. Decision made.
Yeah. Also, should I read the Disney blurb?
Yes, please.
What I was trying to think,
Old Key West. What would be the vibe?
It's like surfer, but like not surfer.
Not surfer, right?
But like laid back, like.
Who was it that lived in Old Key West? Was it Oscar Wilde or
Hemingway?
Ernest Hemingway.
With all his cats. Didn't we? We didn't actually go in. We went to his place in Key West, but we didn't actually get to go in, right?
Yeah. I don't think we could afford the tickets at the time.
I don't think we had the time. We were there for my brother's wedding, and we were only there for like 48 hours.
Hold on, someone passing, watching us film. She's like, what the heck are they doing?
So I don't know. What does someone from Old Key West, like the real Key West, sound like?
I don't know. Let's just hear your best Hemingway. How about that?
Hemingway?
Yeah, you said it was Hemingway that lived
I don't know
there.
what Hemingway sounded like. Do you?
You get to make it up. Let's hear it. Didn't he lived in the, what, 20s and 30s?
Hemingway, a writer. And
Gosh, that's a very different vibe, but I don't know what
The sun also rises.
Maybe just your best laid back voice.
All right. Experience the romance of the Florida Keys at this tranquil community of Conch Flats. A sprawling island hamlet with shimmering waterways. I'm turning into Crush. Swaying palm trees and manicured golf fairways. Delight in sun-soaked pools, casual dining, and such amenities as fully equipped kitchen or kitchenettes.
Is that how it ends?
Yeah. Like dudes and dudettes. Kitchens or kitchenettes.
I loved that slow slide into Crush. Incredible.
I don't know. If you're from Key West, let me know how you sound. I don't know.
We sound like you guys. Yeah. Like, what's wrong with you? Amazing. Love the Disney blur. But I love when they like keep it general about like what the vibe is, and then they get real specific, like kitchens or kitchenettes. Soft drinks are also available. So another thing to know, I did not realize until this trip, is that it's like on and within and mixed in with a golf course.
Yeah.
So our room overlooked the golf course. It was so cool. We'd be out there in the morning drinking coffee and watching someone golf.
Yeah. When I very first started my agency, one of the very first clients that came to me mentioned that they wanted to stay at Old Key West. And at the time I was like, I had just opened my agency and I was like, I know all the hotels pretty well. And then someone was like, Old Key West. I'm like, I don't know anything about Old Key West. So I was doing a bunch of research and trying to figure out all this. So I'm deep diving into all this stuff about the resort. And that's when I realized it was on a golf course. And I remember looking at the rooms. This was 2016. Looking at the rooms thinking, oh my gosh, like you look out over a golf course. It's so beautiful. So even back then I'm like, this is such a beautiful resort. Fast forward now to 2024. And we finally are staying there. And it was just as beautiful as what I had remembered seeing the pictures all those years ago.
And it's interesting too, because this was the original DVC. It's interesting to see how Disney has changed the room types in their newer DVC offerings, if you will. This one was definitely more space. I mean, all of them are big.
100%.
If you're getting a 1-bedroom villa, but if they're large, like you've got enough space. But this one, the main area was so big. I loved the setup of it. I loved that we had a 1-bedroom villa. So the bedroom was separate, of course, but I loved how there was the TV kind of underneath the kitchen island. It was very bizarre. I will say the kids were touching that TV a lot. And I'm like, I bet they regret that choice. But it was kind of cool. Like the kids really liked it being at their level. But then the kitchen's right there. There's the whole kitchen table area. More storage than you would ever know what to do with.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
We could have doubled the amount of stuff
We could have
had.
actually moved in.
That's what I was. I kept
Really
saying.
felt like
I'm
an
like,
apartment.
it was bigger than our initial apartment. Like when we first got married, we had an apartment. I feel like this was more square footage than that.
Yeah, I think so too.
This is one of those places though that I took golf lessons. I took 4 golf lessons, so basically a pro now. And I'm waiting for my green jacket in the mail. I'm pretty sure that's how that works. Or maybe it's a gold jacket. See,
I was like, I don't even know what that means. So go on.
So much I know about golf. But it was specifically because this was one of those golf courses that I'm like, I would love to go to Disney and play golf. And I have not done that yet. I will at some point though. But that's why I took those golf lessons, was so I could go to places like Old Key West. And
That's why you took them, huh?
yeah.
No, I mean, yes, I want to learn to play golf too, but mostly I just want to ride around the golf cart and have a nice drink or something. Enjoy the sunshine. Okay, so rooms that they offer 4 different room types. They offer deluxe studios, which is, I would say, like a standard hotel room, right? But it's going to have a kitchenette. So I was looking into exactly, it has the coffee maker, the microwave, a mini fridge, and a toaster. So you really, in a little sink. So you really do have everything you need, but it's definitely small. Like it is not a kitchen. Then that's all the offerings that are like normal rooms. Then it goes straight to 1-bedroom villa, which is what we stayed in. So you're going to have a separate bedroom, a whole living area, a full stocked kitchen, like with all the dishes and cookware you'd ever need.
Yep. Besides the tea
coffee
kettle,
maker,
there was no tea kettle.
But I think we could have requested.
We could have, but there was not one in the room already. But we could, they on the inside of the door, there's a list of like things that are in the room and then things you can request. And I think they had electric tea kettle in there. We just never did end up requesting it.
Yeah. And they have basically 2 bathrooms, but it's, the shower and toilet and sink is in one. And then they have another that's got the sink and the very large jetted tub, which is amazing. So again, more than enough space, and they all have a washer and dryer. I think the deluxe studios are the only ones that do not. I'm pretty sure do not have a washer and dryer, but they do have laundry facilities near like the hospitality house.
Yes, I saw those while we were there. Yeah.
Because I was like, who would be using those? I'm like, oh, that would be the thing that makes sense.
Right. But the other thing is that the deluxe studios connect to other rooms. So if, like we were talking about, like if my mom had gone with us or something like that, she could have done a deluxe studio where they have the connecting door in between. And then we could have closed the door and then had the 1-bedroom and a deluxe studio.
Which is really a smart design, I feel like. Because then they can close it off and someone else could just rent that studio that was technically connected, which is undoubtedly what happened. So the other room types are 2-bedroom villa, which is, again, the same idea, just with another bedroom and I think another bathroom as well.
In the 2-bedroom?
I think so.
Okay.
I don't know for sure.
I don't remember there being a second bathroom. I'm looking at trying to think about the schematics, but maybe there was.
I didn't look that up.
No, I looked at the blueprint things, but maybe there was.
I feel like there'd have to be. And other ones, well, we've never stayed in a 2-bedroom villa. There you go.
Haven't.
Well, anyway, and then it also has a 3-bedroom grand villa. I bet that one has like 10 bathrooms probably.
1 bathroom per person.
Sleeps 12. There are 12 toilets. I just pictured all the toilets just lined up on a wall. Okay. So all of the room types have a patio or balcony. And I think the studio ones are a little bit smaller, but generally these are very large balconies.
Huge
like
balconies.
Full table with 4 seats.
Yeah. I mean, it had to have been 15 feet by 12 feet.
That seems large, but maybe. I mean, it was big, right?
But think about it. I'm
I have
6
no
feet.
concept
If I were
of
to
that.
lay down, I could have easily laid down at least twice and then probably like put my legs up.
I don't know.
They were
They were big.
huge.
And there was an entrance from the bedroom and from the
That's
main
huge,
living
yeah.
area, which was
Yeah.
so cool.
So like in the mornings, if you're an early riser, like if your kids are still sleeping or whatever, you can go out and like have a cup of coffee or something, enjoy your morning out there.
If I wake up before the kids, I'm banging pots and pans and making them. No, I'm kidding. I'm going to let them sleep as long as they will. It's
But
so
yeah,
rare.
it was so nice. We spent a lot of time because we still have a young one. So her during nap time, we spent a lot of time out there
Mm-hmm.
on that balcony. And there was a ceiling fan too, which is also really nice.
Very Florida.
Yeah. So we should talk about the location of the rooms themselves.
Where do you want to stay? And you know what? This is maybe the most important part of this conversation.
It's huge because this is a huge resort. So this is a big part of your overall experience there, I feel like.
So where you're staying matters because if you want to be anywhere near the main lobby, which is going to have I should say most of the food options, mug refill stations, if you're doing that,
Yep.
the main pool, all the, like everything basically, then you want to stay near the hospitality house, which is the name of the lobby. Well, as it turns out, only DVC members generally can book the actual rooms that are, and I'm going to put this in quotes, near hospitality house. Like when they're booking, that's what it shows up.
The verbiage is near
Yeah.
hospitality house.
We were thinking maybe you could get a preferred room, but they don't, as far as we can see, they don't offer that.
Because a
on the
lot of
normal-
Disney resorts will have like, standard room, preferred room, whatever.
And preferred room would be
The
near the
only
lobby.
options they have here are the studio or the 1, 2, 3 bedrooms.
Yeah. So that's important to know. So we have some recommendations. You got your pens out or your pencils, whatever, your phone probably. So what we did some research, we were reading some blog posts, we were looking at some maps ourselves. And these are ones that are not the DVC near hospitality house ones. So these are ones you should be able to request. Doesn't mean you're going to get it, but you should be able to request. So you could do building 16, 62, 63, or 64. These are going to be a much shorter walk to the main lobby area, but your bus stop is going to be the main lobby bus stop, which you want to explain why that might
So
be?
yeah, so there's the transportation aspect and then the actual physical location of where you want to be aspect. So there's just two things to consider. The hospitality house, which is actually I think the 5th stop, I think there are 5, is always the last place they stop. So they've gone through the entire resort and all these other places and they're loading up buses. And especially when it's busy, we would show up at the hospitality house and the bus was full. I mean, they could maybe fit a couple more people on, and that was about it. So they had to wait for another bus to come through. So if you are on the hospitality house, yes, you're close to all the amenities, but you also might have to wait a lot longer for buses. And there are only buses at Old Key West. We'll talk more about transportation, but that's something to consider. It's kind of a trade-off. But there's one more thing to consider is the buildings 62, 63, and 64 that we were just talking about are the only ones that have elevators. So if you need an elevator, then you're going to have to stay in one of those rooms, or you can request a first floor room in any of the other rooms. So
That sounds like a win-win for those buildings either way, though.
right.
I mean, because you could always, in theory, walk to another bus stop.
right.
It might be more walking than you want to do, but you could. The other thing is we realized it wasn't really an issue if you weren't going during the high peak times of the day. Like if you weren't going first thing in the morning, the buses were just not that busy. It was really only that first, like when a park is about to open.
But it was sometimes, I feel like, especially like coming back from Magic Kingdom, it was like a 20-minute bus ride just to get to the resort and then be another 10 minutes of just driving through the resort until you got to the hospitality house. So it adds like 10 minutes.
Maybe 15 to get to the actual last stop, yeah.
It takes a long time.
We were timing it, trust me. At one point, Tyler got off on the first stop and walked it while me and the girls stayed on the bus to see who would get there, and we got there at the same time.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, it didn't help.
Yeah. But
So
I had to
the-
walk a half a mile.
Yeah, exactly. So the other recommended buildings I would request is the Peninsula Road area. So buildings 27, 28, and 29 specifically, because that can go a lot farther down. That was actually what we requested and did not get it. But I also know we wanted our room sooner. You can say, like when you're putting requests in on the app,
Yeah.
you can even say like, hey, I'm willing to wait longer for the requested area versus getting my room sooner anywhere.
Exactly. Yeah.
Now we know, forget the room, we'll wait.
I don't know. Well, we were excited to get to our room so our daughter could have nap time,
Yeah.
but then we waited like an hour for our pack and play.
So
it
I think
didn't
it was
end
like
up
an hour and a
working
half.
anyway.
I know. So yeah, like Tyler mentioned, none of the other buildings have elevators. Keep that in mind. You were trudging up a stroller up and down. It was a lot. That was unexpected. We did not
Yeah.
know there were not elevators.
And we could have requested a first floor room, but we just
Yes, we
didn't
just
even
didn't
think
know.
about it because I was like, oh yeah,
Also, I liked having the balcony. You know, it's such a trade-off.
Which you would still have, but it'd just be like a first floor balcony, like a walkout.
Patio, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah,
A lanai.
but I think I literally even requested a high floor room because we always like having a high floor room. Didn't even cross my mind to think about, not having an elevator. Which again, if you don't have a stroller or anything like that, it won't, for a lot of people, it probably won't matter. But if that is something you're factoring in, that's got to be something you got to remember. This resort is so big that they literally had to pick us up in a golf cart and take us to our room initially. It was just over a half mile from our room, and we were kind of in the middle of the resort to the main lobby. So they literally loaded us up on a golf cart. And
all of our luggage, some groceries we'd ordered.
Yeah, everything. And they loaded us all up and they took us to our room the first time. And I'm like, oh boy, how far away is this place? And it wasn't terrible, but that's something to consider.
Yeah, but it's nice. I mean, they do that for you for free. I mean, you can tip them if you want, but that is nice because I think that's just the MO there because it is just so big. I can't imagine walking with all of our luggage. Yeah. Let's talk food. So Olivia's Cafe is the main restaurant there. We actually did not eat there this time, but we've eaten there previously. Yeah. Well, we did. We got to-go food.
I talked to like 10 different people about Old Key West, like agents and stuff like that. And they were all like, well, I haven't stayed there, but I've gone to Olivia's Cafe. Like everyone's gone to Olivia's Cafe, but like no one stayed there. Everyone just goes to eat there. That's just
a really good brunch. I mean, it really is. Yeah. So they offer brunch and dinner. They have some outdoor seating and indoor seating. It's very much the vibe of like the local restaurant with like all the memorabilia around. Yeah. It's really cute, but the food is really, really good. I really liked the breakfast there. Yeah. And then you can order mobile food to go. It does take a little bit longer, but we got dinner and it was really, really good too.
Yeah, it was good. One of my favorite memories though was going and sitting outside. They have a little outdoor seating area. And it was just, I remember just being so sunny outside and just, it was very happy vibes there. But I remember the food was good too. We went for like a brunch and it was just all the right vibes.
It was, yeah, it is.
Okay, our light just went out and it will be out for a while because it overheated. So if you're watching this, the lighting just changed. Just
deal with it.
Just deal with it. We updated some of our equipment. I think we need to update our lighting. Our lighting is pretty bad. It's a headache. Anyway,
I don't even want to talk about it.
I don't want to talk about it. So anyway, it's now darker, but you can still hear us. Just close your eyes and imagine.
It's a rainy day out. It's the right vibe.
That's true. Okay. So Goods Food to Go. We ate there a couple times actually, but they have like picnic tables and stuff out in the front. And so they have like some nice shade and stuff like that. You can see the boat going to Disney Springs and back. And then there's some seating around the pool area too. So if you kind of want to just grab something and eat over by the pool. But then they also at this place have beer and wine too, because the Gurgling Suitcase, which is next, which is what's on my shirt, that was always a decently long line. So if you just want beer and wine, you could just grab it here at this quick thing. But if you want to do like a margarita or something like that, you have to go there. But just something to keep in mind. But the food that we got there was really good. Like I had a power green salad at some point, and we kind of had chicken tenders, like a little bit of. I think we tried.
Yeah, I think we ate there 2 or 3 times. I mean,
because it was just quick and easy, and it was.
We were at the pool one day and eating lunch. Like it was perfect.
Yeah, and everything we ordered. I mean, we had to get like the little thing to notify us, so it wasn't like it was already sitting under a heat lamp. I think they made it.
Yeah.
While we were sitting there, but it was good. I
really had no complaints about the food there at any of them. And it was nice to have the option to do Olivia's Cafe. Now, I know we're not talking about that, but it was nice to have that as a mobile to-go option and to have Goods Food to Go.
Right. But the mobile order for Olivia's is only available for dinner, right? After 5 p.m.?
As far as I saw, but then I think it was available for brunch on certain days. Okay. Like on the weekend or something. I wouldn't quote me on that exactly, but then like I feel like the very next day I saw and it was available. So I'm like, I don't know.
So check the app, I guess this place is not a bad option if it's not available and you don't want to go sit down at Olivia's.
Yeah, and of course Olivia's food is going to be more expensive. So
exactly.
Good Food to Go is also going to be a little cheaper.
Yeah.
So then Gurgling Suitcase right next door is their bar, and it's fun. I mean, there's maybe a seat or two in there. There's not a lot, but there's a lot of seating right in that kind of boardwalk-y area anyway, so you'll be able to find somewhere to sit. Plus you're right there at the pool area, so you could sit in any of the pool seats.
Exactly.
But just I would say a full service bar. They could make whatever you wanted. Got a pina colada. It was, you can't go. It's just delicious.
It was so, I don't know. There was something, I'm just obviously very old Key Westy about it, but it just was such happy vibes in that little area right there. I loved when we sat there and kind of ate, or we'd be walking by for whatever reason. It made me feel like I was on vacation, and that is not always the case in Disney. This felt very vacation-y.
Yeah. I really do think they nailed the theme of that. Like that is exactly how it feels.
Everyone's just vibing,
But one thing I don't think I realized while we were there is that Gurgling Suitcase has food as well. Think appetizers, right? Yeah. Like it's chips and dip and nachos and things like that. But they did have some things too, so it's good to know you could get even more options. They had fried
natches.
I know I spelled it wrong. Natches.
Natches. So we were in the Old Turtle Bay Road area.
Might have been Old Turtle Pond, but what is Turtle Bay? That's New York.
Yeah. A townhouse in Turtle Bay and a fur and a diamond ring. Anyway, turtle. It's too many turtles.
Turtles all the way down.
I like sunshine and
many
windows and wine and
turtles.
turtles. Okay. The
What are we even doing?
our lighting's wrong. We're wrong. There's a lot going on.
Did you catch my Barely We Roll Along?
No.
Is that Too Many Mornings? Too many mornings.
Too many turtles.
That's what I said. I knew you
That's
did
my
it.
joke, Jim. Okay. Turtle Shack, poolside snacks, was right by the old Turtle Pond Road pool area. And that's where our room was right there. So it was actually closer to walk to that pool. And it was a nice pool. It was supposed to be a quiet pool, but I feel like there was more people there than there were at the main pool.
Interesting.
But it was a nice little pool area, but it had like the classics, chicken tenders, all that kind of stuff. It had a full bar, but it was kind of nice having that. So you had at least an option for food and drinks and stuff like that at the quiet pool versus having to go all the way to the main area.
And that's the only one. So they have other quiet pools. We'll talk about in a moment, but that is the only one that also has like a food area and it has a mug refill station.
That's right. Yes, it did.
So that's nice. So if you didn't, again, you don't have to walk all the way there. So if you're anywhere near it, there's a mug refill station.
And they had ice cream bars, which one day while Felicity was napping, Gigi and I went over there and we got some ice cream and it was very nice.
That's so nice. The place that Old Key West shines is their amenities. I knew of, when we're outlining this and stuff, I knew most of these, but I was still surprised by how many more amenities were there that I didn't even know about staying there.
Really? Yeah.
It's unbelievable. This has to be the most amenity-heavy resort on Disney property.
I kept saying, I'm like, I could live here.
You really could.
It's pretty amazing.
So as we mentioned, the hospitality house is the main lobby. So within that complex, we mentioned the main pool is back there. There's the fitness center there. There's the gift shop, which is called like Conch Flats.
Yeah.
Sundry, I don't know.
There's the check-in desk, which you don't really, when I went in there was like nobody in there because you don't really have to go to check in anymore. So they've got this big, huge open space where you would check in if you do go to the check-in desk.
That's really just the main hub. Everything's there. And so they also in that gift shop, I remember it was Conch Flats General Store.
Yes.
Yes,
that's what it was.
They have sundries and stuff there. I actually filmed a lot of footage because I want to do a reel just of that because that is the kind of stuff I always want to see. Like, what do they actually have? Like baby supply wise, what do they have? Medicine wise, what do they have? They have so much. Again, since this is a DVC resort, any of the Disney DVC resorts have
a good amount.
Good amount. Like things you get, like frozen pizzas you could cook, like all kinds of stuff like that.
They did not have pacifiers though. Learned that the hard way. But yeah, it's a nice little gift shop too. I feel like they have a lot of good Disney stuff, but then they've got the whole big, wall of refrigerators with all kinds of stuff over there.
Then the pools. The main pool is the sandcastle pool. I loved this pool area.
Yeah.
And they had a little baby pool area too. But the big sandcastle slide was so much fun.
You and I both did that.
I don't know, like something about this pool. Again, I think because it really does feel very vacation-y. It was such a happy time. And there was always a cast member out there leading games. There was music playing. They had like water crafts people could do. They were doing like pirate bingo poolside. Like there was so much going on.
Yeah.
It was so fun.
And like one night they gave us like pirate bandanas and swords and eye patches and all kinds of stuff.
And did pirate trivia.
Yeah, pirate trivia, which was so fun. Like they didn't have to do
in the pool.
They could have just done the pirate trivia, but they did all this extra stuff, which was so fun.
It was so fun.
They have a really nice hot tub area there. But they also have a sauna there's the big lighthouse they have there, which has a sauna in it. But the sauna, when we were there, was not working because I went in there and it wasn't hot. And I was trying to figure out, like, there's a dial on the outside to, like, turn it on. But or maybe it's like a timer. I don't know. It didn't do anything because I kept flipping it back and forth. And so I was just sitting in a lukewarm wood room by myself.
Yeah, I was right by the hot tub and I watched people. We were trading off in the hot tub. And yeah, I watched people go in, then come right out. And I thought, must be too hot. Turns out it's not hot enough.
Not hot at all. So just sitting there in a wood paneled room. There's plenty of time for me to sit in a padded room as I get older. But the playground in this area, though, is sand. And there's over by the old Turtle Pond Bay Road pool.
Fieldville.
Well, I'm going to take my horse to the old Turtle Road. That place.
I did not expect that one.
Has a
what are you even talking about?
Don't know. They have a playground there that has a sand base. That was.
Do you want to say sand bottom? Because that's
I was
what I've
going to
been
say
wanting.
sandy bottom, but I thought that sounded wrong.
Well, I keep wanting to say, like, you know, like some pools are a sand bottom pool. I keep wanting to say it's a sand bottomed playground, and that just sounds so ridiculous.
But we played on both of them, and the kids loved them. They were great.
Did you get sandy bottoms? Yes. Yeah.
Went down the
so
slide,
fun.
landed, sandy bottom.
Wait a minute. What's Sandy's last name in SpongeBob? It can't be Bottom.
No, it's Bikini Bottom.
Oh, Bikini Bottom. That's what
Which
I'm
is
thinking of.
hilarious as an adult
The
looking
more-
back. Like they
yeah.
called it Bikini Bottom. Never even noticed as a kid. But no,
I
it's
didn't
then
either
it's
until this very moment.
Sandy. Oh, somebody's gonna
Crabs.
be so mad.
No. All right. Well, anyway, let us know.
Her.
The playgrounds, yes, were amazing, like truly amazing. And you could just play in the sand. You could have sand toys and play in there, ignoring the playground completely. There was so much, and it's all packed in right in that area.
And right on the other side, they had another sandy bottom area that had hammocks. And I kept saying I wanted to go over and sit in those.
Me too. And
those-
guess what?
Yeah.
We never did.
Laid in that, fell over, sandy face.
And bottom.
Sandy bottom, sandy face.
Sugar cookies.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
One of my favorite things about this resort is the Conch Flats Community Hall. It is, a lot of them have like a little, I'm going to call it a craft room. That's not all it is, but like in my mind, that's what I think of it as. Saratoga had one. So a lot of them have this. I remember the Riviera had one.
That's what I was going to say, yeah.
But this one feels like a camp counselor's rec hall.
Yeah. It reminds me of like when I was a kid, my family owned an RV dealer or owns an RV dealership, and we went camping a lot. And we would take a camper down to Florida, and like they always had like a little community hall, and that is exactly what this feels like. And I don't know if they did it on purpose or if they just haven't updated it. Either way, don't change a thing.
It's perfect.
It's
Don't
perfect.
change a thing.
It's got wood paneling. It's got
it's
like,
amazing.
oh, it's awesome. Like old gross couches. It's perfect.
But I don't even think they're actually gross, but you think they are because there's wood paneling in the room, you know? I really think they were fine.
Yeah.
But it had not only crafty stuff like coloring pages that were organized, you could take back to your room, you could do them there. Tons of markers and crafting supplies. They had a tracing area where it like lights up. I had a lot. I could have sat there for hours tracing things.
Yeah.
But they also had like little kid toys. So Felicity, there were like little Disney figurines and a Moana boat and like things she could play with. They had a movie playing and couches.
Wasn't there a pool table? Or maybe it was a foosball table in the back?
There's some kind of, something like that in the back. There were scavenger hunts you could complete. That is where you would go to rent equipment for like the basketball courts, the tennis courts, pickleball, all of that. You could rent board games. They had a whole binder of pictures of board games you could take back to your room and check it out, basically.
Yeah.
DVDs as well, which was just funny to me, but awesome.
I don't think this is where you normally rent the Surrey bikes because they have Surrey bikes that go around the resort. But for some reason, somebody was off work when we were in there because we were in that room, I don't know, an hour maybe. And when we first got there, I heard the cast members talking about like, yeah, I gotta go chain up the Surrey bikes. But they were like the kids counselors, and I don't think they normally do it. And for an hour, they talked about how to chain up these things. And like literally then we left and came back and one of them was still chaining up these Surrey bikes. I'm like, this has been a 4-hour project for these cast members to chain up these Surrey bikes. I don't know whose job it normally is, but it was not.
They called in sick that day
But
and
I
they
was
did not leave
dying
instructions.
at them
Where's
talk-
their subfolder?
Oh my gosh, I was dying about that.
That's
It
pretty
just
funny.
was
I didn't catch any of
Such
that.
a conversation with these people. I'm gonna go lock them up. And 4 hours later, I still see her out there chaining up Surrey bikes.
Oh, that's cute.
Oh man.
So that place was just amazing. I mean, we could have been in there again. If our room were closer, we probably would have been there all the time while Felicity was napping, like taking Genevieve in there. But they also have outside of there movie under the stars a few nights a week, which most Disney resorts have. They have their campfire where you can do marshmallows and s'mores.
Yeah, we saw them doing that one night, but it was too late by the time we got there.
Yeah,
To do it, but yeah, that's
Love
so fun.
that they
I
do
love
that.
that. Yeah, the workout room is right next door as well.
they have an arcade right there, a game
I didn't
room.
even
I
see the
know. I
arcade.
saw it and I thought, oh, we should do that, and then I forgot.
Yes, I did. It was okay. Now I can
Right
picture
by
it.
where
Yep.
the goods food to go is.
Yep.
But they also have again, bike rentals, like regular bike rentals, Surrey bike rentals, volleyball. I was reading the list: basketball courts, volleyball courts, tennis and pickleball courts, a jogging trail. I mean,
The list goes on.
you would never run out of things to do. You can fish there. There's fishing you can do.
The tennis courts were actually over by us. They were right behind our building. I never heard anybody over there playing, but they were right by us.
Yeah.
You could see them.
I mean, incredible. You really could live. You could live there.
Yeah. So we're going to try and do this quickly. Let's talk about transportation. Transportation is, I think, the biggest downfall for this resort. If you are people that don't have a stroller or kids that need car seats or anything like that, I think Uber and Lyft, those are going to, or minivans, those are going to be your best friend here because they can take you right to your room, right to wherever you're going. Like that's the move. With us having kids and it just gets expensive doing all minivans because we need the car seats and all that kind of stuff, we ended up doing the bus transportation. We spent an hour a day at least on buses.
Oh, longer, more.
And then if
higher.
we would go back to our resort for, to nap, and then we go back to we must have spent, maybe 2 hours a day on buses.
I would say every bus
so
ride, no matter
long.
what. And again, we were the middle stop. So you either like gain or lose time depending on.
Yeah.
It was at least at a minimum, like to go to Epcot, I would say maybe 20 minutes, which is not that bad, but that is the shortest. Most of them were at least 40 minutes. Because half of that time was just within your own resort. And so that, honestly, like when we were booking this, we're like, hey, it's not going to be that bad. It was pretty long.
And you know what? The buses were always there. Like it wasn't a matter of us sitting at the bus stop and waiting. Yeah. They were really good about, we never waited more than like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Too many stops. And we've done this at other resorts before too, but it just never seemed like it was such a to-do.
Yeah, this just felt longer. We've done it at Saratoga Springs.
Exactly.
I don't remember it being as big of a deal. So all in all, it's not the most ideal transportation situation. The only other transportation option they have is the bus. I said that weird, I know. The bus the boat to Disney Springs, which I actually don't think was running while we were there.
It did the first day because I got footage of it, and then they stopped.
Yeah,
doing
I didn't see it again.
And they put signs up saying that it was closed for some reason. I'm not sure why.
Someone caddyshacked the pool, the water. Okay, let's go into our just general pros and cons. So you probably could already glean this, but just to put a really fine point on it, what would you say are the pros of staying at Old Key West?
The room itself is probably my favorite room we've stayed in, just in general. It was so big. It had everything you could ever possibly want, storage, and it felt so homey. It felt so relaxing to be there. So the room in general is definitely why I would stay there again.
And I would also stay there again because if you are wanting the 1-bedroom villa, 2-bedroom villa experience, it really is that and Saratoga Springs. Those are the cheapest options. Yeah. You know what I mean? They really are.
And they're always available too.
Yeah, like almost always. So yeah. And then the larger balconies, that was just, I didn't expect that. And I didn't expect to love that as much as I did.
Yeah. That was the most time we've ever spent on a balcony in Disney, for hands down.
Such a specific thing.
But almost every deluxe resort has a balcony. We never utilize it, I feel like, for whatever reason. Like we sat out there a lot this time. And then all the amenities. There really is so much there. So if you're doing a resort day or 2 resort days, depending on how long your trip is, it's nice.
It really is.
It's a nice place to hang out.
And then the vibe. I feel like you really do feel like you're on vacation while you're there, which I don't always... I feel at some other Disney resorts for sure, but this one really... Yeah. I think they just nailed the relaxed vibe.
100%. So then the biggest con is obviously transportation.
Yep. And then also just that depending on where you're staying, it's going to be a long walk. So if you're wanting to refill your mug or whatever, it's not as easy as it may seem. So that part bothered me almost as much as the transportation.
Yeah. It was where we were from our room. It was, like I said, just over half a mile. It was like an 8 to 10 minute walk, depending on how fast I was walking. So I'm like, each way, that's a 20-minute round trip just for a cup of coffee.
Which doesn't sound like that much when we're saying it, but there was something about actually doing it that it felt very far.
Yeah. Think about it.
I can't explain
I'd be gone for like 30 minutes just to go get something out of the thing. Yeah. Unless, I walked really fast. Yeah. So that, and if, to be fair, it was nice. To be fair, it was nice having those, nice walks.
That's true.
But also then, with little kids, I'm like, all right, I'll be back in 30 minutes. Good luck.
Okay, so we always read a review from one of you guys. Thank you so much if you ever submit reviews. We read them all. They mean so much to us. This one is from Mara Scragg. She said, I stumbled upon Tyler's channel when I was home with COVID in 2021 and watched all of his Disney vlogs and even watched a Vlogmas in July. Did we do that?
We were just, maybe she watched Vlogmas in July. We were talking about doing
Vlogmas in July. But have we done that in the past, the way it's worded? Well, anyway, okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
I've heard him and Jessica talk about wanting to start a podcast for a long time. I'm so glad they finally did. In the last year, I've also started watching Jessica's channel as well. Thank you. I'd never miss a video from either one of them. I love how knowledgeable they are and love listening to everything they have to share. Oh, we're not we know a lot about Disney, but we're not knowledgeable about anything else. This podcast not only shares good information, but also gives me my Disney fix and is perfect to listen to on my drives to and from college. Tyler and Jessica both seem like great people, and I'm so glad I found their channels. Thank you so much. That is just awesome.
Oh,
I love hearing about how you guys found us.
Yeah.
And like, what, you know, I just love hearing that.
Side note that made me think about, on my channel, we're going to have, by this point, I think the first maybe couple will be out, vlogs from our trip at Old Key West, and the whole first one is basically everything that we just did in vlog form. Like, we talk a lot about the resort.
And then some, yeah.
And so if you're interested in watching that, I'll link that below as well, so you can watch those vlogs. And then we've got a whole 6 or 7 of them from that trip coming up.
Mm-hmm.
So
just search Tyler Braun. You'll find the vlogs. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening.
Yep.
Anything else to add, babe?
No, babe.
All right, babe.
All right, babe. Bye, babe.
Love you guys. Bye.